The astonishing program you're about to watch is truly inexplicable. It was recorded in 2021, in the midst of the pandemic, and the reasons why it didn't reach your screen until now are still under investigation. People who have watched it warn that the program contains high doses of information, entertainment, and foolish humor. Viewer discretion is advised.
And welcome to the Talk Show, the first entertainment space created by and for professionals in the raiding and caring of the pigs. The only program that uses everything but the squeal. Welcome! Well, let me introduce myself. Because maybe my family knows me, but not all the people knows. Or let's say that some people may know me like, you know, the biosecurity rules, you know? Yes, but no. Yeah. Well, my name is Miquel Collell. I'm Global Swine Technical Director for MSD Animal Health. Yeah, I'm a veterinarian. And since I was a kid, I was really very happy, and I was thinking about being a veterinarian because I grew up in a pig farm, you know? And now being here at MSD and have the chance to do that, I'm extremely happy. You may think why MSD Animal Health decides to do a talk show. And let's say that the answer is quite easy. Basically, for one thing, you know, 2020, it's been a really very tough year. Wow, everybody during this year is being behind the cameras at home without having the chance to move, without having the chance to make this social life, so it's been a really very tough thing. I think that some of you must be extremely tired of seeing yourselves in the camera. No, tired of webinars, tired of this kind of information that anytime is coming in the same way. So yeah, the thing is, why we don't do something different? Why we don't do something that could be informing for you, for one side, and also at the same time could be a little bit of entertainment. So this is why we decide to do this talk show. But there is another reason. And this reason probably is more important than the first one. You know, our self-esteem, the people that are working in swine, is really very low. Yeah. So we are not proud. It looks like we need to hide on what we are doing. So it looks like anything that we are giving to the science, all the advances that thanks to our sector we are achieving in the world, we are not proud of that. We are giving food to the people, so we are really important. So yeah, we should be proud on what we are. Well, in fact, I'm proud. I'm proud on what I am. I'm proud of what I'm doing. And I think that now, today, is time to get out of the pig closet. So now is bacon time. Thank you very much. Oh, wow, look at that. I have a shirt that is really comfortable. Wow. And I even have a cup. Well, tonight, to inaugurate the program, we are delighted to welcome one of the people in the world that knows more about agriculture management, diPietre. Everybody knows diPietre. When we think about how important is variability in a swine farm, the first person who was talking about that was diPietre. He was talking how important it was to have all the animals in the same weight, because if not, we were losing a lot of money. So if we think about economy, if we think about earning money, if we think about market, he is the person. So for us, it's a pleasure to have with us tonight, diPietre. Welcome.
Thank you, Miquel. So nice of an introduction that you provided for me. Good to be here with you.
Dennis, the first question is obligatory. Dennis, with a body like this, why did pursue a career in economics rather than fashion? I'm sure that it wasn't not an easy decision, no?
Well, what really wasn't an easy choice was turning down the opportunity to be there with you in person. to see you and to enjoy the wonderful food of Spain. We could have had a wonderful time, but due to COVID-19, we have to be very careful these days.
Well, now that you are bringing the issue with African swine fever and COVID, when do you think that we will have what we call the new normal?
I like to explain to people to forget about normal, to forget about coming back to some mythological time in the past when everything worked well, but to focus on resilience and the ability to be able to quickly recover and turn on a dime when necessary to continue to create value and to continue to serve the people in your markets.
And as you know, now Europe, they have a new scenario, African swine fever in Germany, which I think that can make some troubles also in market. What do you think? That markets, what markets will react on that? What will happen with this?
This is probably the most anticipated surprise that we could ever have. The fact that the animal was already decomposed means, of course, that ASF was in Germany for quite some time, and probably there are more cases. Still, even with the anticipation and the preparation, which will help soften the blow, there are likely to be some fairly severe impacts. In the EU, we, of course, are already seeing the German price coming down at a very rapid rate. I don't think we should expect much decrease in demand. So the German people and much of Europe will now get much less expensive pork meat to consume, so you can expect the localized demands to rise. If this happens to spread into a domestic farm, especially a large one, in that area of Germany, and there are some very large ones in that vicinity in the eastern side of Germany, then we could have a very different situation.
I remember that you have some articles talking about the black swine theory. Can you go a little bit deeper and explain a little bit about that? Because I think that's really an interesting concept.
The theory of the black swan really describes a event which happens in history, which is very influential to the historical development, both as it occurs and afterwards, that has lasting impacts. And the key part about it is that it was unpredictable. So it's improper to begin calling everything that happens that's bad a black swan. For instance, the emergence of ASF in Germany certainly was not a black swan event. That was the most anticipated thing, I think, in Europe that probably existed. However, the emergence of COVID-19 disease and ASF together, so that we have a disturbance in the marketing channel and this tremendous sequestering of people in their homes and in their regions, and the disruption of the complete supply chain, that truly is a black swan event.
And there is another topic that worries a lot, the ones that we are producing meat. Do you know that we still have real meat and what we call not real meat? So do you think that this real meat, they will have a competitive substitute?
Yes. I think meat will have a real competitive substitute. Many people in the industry, of course, won't like to hear that. And, you know, in most cases, I strongly prefer to eat the authentic pork and beef. However, the substitutes now, which are coming out from combinations of top-rated chefs, top-rated food scientists, and really equipment that was not available many years ago, is producing products relatively inexpensively compared to meat, and the taste, flavor, and mouthfeel is very similar, if not really almost indistinguishable. The one last thing I would say about that makes it likely to become much more competitive is the ability to scale it rapidly. If we try to scale beef production, it takes 3 years. Or we found the situation with COVID in the plants where pork in the chain coming to the packing plant was backed up for weeks and caused tremendous hardship because of the lack of flexibility in the biological growth of the animal. A plant-based meat can close overnight with little or no problems. And because much of it is based on fermentation, they can add production very quickly. So the ability to respond to demand, create new products, expand and contract demand rapidly is going to give it the flexibility to make big inroads fast. And the price profile has come down now as beef and pork prices have risen during this COVID problem, and the processes for the plant-based meat have become much more cheap. We're going to see, I think, a tremendous inroads over the next 5 to 10 years. Remember that the so-called baby boomers, the children born after, in the great wave of optimism after the Second World War, are now, the big meat eaters are now leaving the scene, and young millennials and the generation before them are much more open to the idea of plant-based meat. So yes, it will become a major challenge to production.
Thank you very much, Denise. And before ending this fascinating interview, may I ask you for a favor?
Sure.
Could you give us 5 tips to improve production and earn more money?
Sure. The number one is to prevent variation. And I would say that obviously the biggest way to prevent variation is to start with a well-managed vaccination program for the diseases that are in your area. Number two, we have to be very focused, of course, on our major cost inputs. And the first one is feed. It's not unusual to walk through a barn and find a lot of waste. And I'm always amazed at this when I do get into a barn. It gives me the idea that people have gone to sleep about it. And number three is to really consider not trying to set the worldwide record on total born and born alive. To maintain it high, of course, but to always be watching. If you've tuned it too high, you'll have too many pigs that are not viable, or unfortunately are viable but not going to be good profit candidates. Okay. The fourth thing, we talked about prevention, but I have to stop now and talk too about biosecurity, which is not just vaccination, but all of the traffic coming in and out of the farm, where it's been, where it's going, letting that down in even minor ways can cause huge problems. And then I would lump really the last one. I encourage everybody on the path toward increased profits to move beyond simple averages and get to know the variation in your system so that you can take action to bring that under control. So if we're talking about even something like, as we just mentioned, pigs per sow per year, or total born, or something like that, if you look at the average, you're really missing the spread that creates that average. So we know that profitability is much more correlated with high averages, which have also low standard deviations. And that's not just weight at sale. That's also all the other metrics like average daily gain and feed efficiency and litters per sow per year, pigs born alive. Looking only at that high average will mislead you pretty much every time.
Thank you very much, Denise, for this wise advice. Denise, I'm sure that our audience will have taken note of that. Unfortunately, we don't have time for more questions, and just a minute. Yes, ma'am? Of course, ma'am. Certainly, ma'am. At your service, ma'am. Well, my boss, maybe better to say the head of the swine business unit in MSD Animal Health, she wants to ask you a question. Are you okay with that?
Please do.
Thank you very much. Now we are linking with Rika Jolie, the head of the swine in MSD Animal Health in Kansas City. Good evening, Rika.
Well, good evening, Miquel, and thank you for your kind introduction. I never know where you're going to come from when you introduce me, so it's all good. First of all, congratulations. This is your first program, and I must say you're doing a great job. This is a rather unique event here for our industry, so well done so far.
Thank you very much, Rika. It's a pleasure for us. By the way, I have a question. Are the Buccaneers those guys that they won the Super Bowl from Kansas City? Are they from there or?
No.
Oh.
We don't have the Buccaneers, but our team, the Chiefs from Kansas City, they did play the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl this year. And unfortunately, they lost, but we are moving on from that and better next year.
Okay, let's hope that next year it will be better. And I was to say sorry for all those in US that I don't know where the Buccaneers are from. Anyway, Rika, can you please give this question, pose this question to Dennis?
Yeah, first of all, welcome, Dennis, to our first program here.
Good evening, Rika. Nice to hear from you.
When I heard that you were going to be in our program, I did want to take some time out of my day to call in and ask you a question. And we've heard a lot about the Chinese investments that are happening in Latin American swine farms. Do you have any thoughts on that?
People are very eager to find investment in the world today. Chinese investment is fine, but like investment from anywhere else, it has to be understood in terms of the demands, the terms, the consequences of failure of the operation, and who will be managing the operation, and how that management might change under different circumstances. So it could be a very good thing, but in the cases of any kind of investment, there has to be lots of eyes wide open, careful understanding, and shall we say rules around the investment, so each party understands what's going on and the long-term implications.
Thank you, Denise, and thank you, Rika, for this really interesting question. I think that it was a really very valuable one. Thank you, Rika.
It was very nice. Thank you. I learned a lot more now.
I really appreciated the opportunity to be with you. There were some very good questions in this very interesting time in the world. And I don't want to say goodbye without thanking you very much for allowing me to be present in my special body double.
It's great, isn't it? This way I can give you a farewell embrace without worrying about getting infected or anything. Thank you. This is wonderful.
Whoa, Miguel, that's enough. You're going to crumple my suit.
Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, Dennis diPietre. I don't know about you, but this meaty interview makes me a little bit hungry. So if you excuse me, when my blood fast drops, my vision gets a little bit blurry, so sorry for that. And it's a BLT, the one that I love the most, with a lot of B, not too much L, and almost no T at all. So this is what I was. Look, a memo from MSD Animal Health. Let's see. Dear Miquel, given your disinterest in the casting of co-presenters, as if I need one, we decide to proceed unilaterally, and appoint someone with the true class and to supplement your shortcomings. Her name is Olivia Azlor. Olivia Azlor? Olivia!
Good evening, Miquel.
What a pleasant surprise, Olivia. And welcome to the talk show.
Thank you, Miquel. Thank you very much.
For those that they don't know Olivia, I need to say that she's a global marketing MSD director for MSD Animal Health, and she's based in New Jersey.
Thank you, Miquel. It's all a pleasure to be here with you.
And technically, even sometimes my boss.
We still pretend the program is yours.
Okay, thank you, Olivia. So tell us why you are here.
Well, Miquel, you know very well the swine sector. It's complex, it's moving fast, and the people sometimes feel they don't have enough information and plenty of questions. So I thought, why don't we create a forum where we can give answers to all these questions that our customers and our colleagues have? What do you think?
Oh, it's a great idea. I pitch up to you. Great.
Well, Miquel, look back at your contract. Your ideas are MSD ideas, but it's okay. You can still do it.
Okay, so can at least present with you.
But of course, Miquel, at the end of the day, this is still your program. Shall we? This is All You Need Is Pork. And to show you I'm a team player, Miquel, I'll let you read the questions.
Oh, thank you, Olivia, thank you. Well, the first question comes from Germany. Hello, everyone, and congratulations on the program. We need a show like this. And Miquel is so talented and attractive. Oh, that's a good start, isn't it, Olivia?
Miquel, you're aware that I selected the questions and I know you're making up all this flattery.
Okay, well, I follow with the question. I was thinking that something was wrong here. Well, my question is, how can we contribute to improve sustainability on the livestock sector?
Very timely question, Miquel, because just last week I was talking to our sustainability lead, Dr. Jessica Messenger, and she was giving me some tips about this same topic. What she was telling me is that there's many definitions for sustainability, but they always have to come in intersection in between economical viability, environmental sustainability, and social responsibility. So as much as it's important, for example, to reduce our footprint, in our carbon footprint, or reducing waste, in our sector is as important as to maintain animals healthy. Because a healthy livestock grows better, reproduces ideally, and at the end of the day gives better meat, or for example, eggs and milk in the other sectors. So all that really impacts the sustainability, because a healthy animal, a profitable animal, it's at the end of the day a sustainable animal. What do you think, Miquel?
I love the way that you did it, because usually the people, when people think about sustainability, they think about things that they are environment related. So things that they are related to have a better production or a green production or things like this. But this point of view, I think that it's really a very nice one. It's a really very nice approach. Congratulations, Olivia. Oli, I love that. I love it. You did it great.
Thank you, Miquel.
Oh, this is a very interesting question coming from Japan. Why do you think my country has the highest production cost per kilogram of pork salt?
We've heard this question sometimes before. Okay, Miquel, see what you think. I think it's a combination of two factors. Maybe the higher cost of the imported goods, like raw materials, but also the higher wages of workers, of farm workers in Japan. I think the combination of two makes that the costs raise up a little bit. But what I would say is that the Japanese market also pays more for pork than some other markets, because they value pork as a staple in their cuisine. So that kind of balances up costs versus gain. But what do you think, Miquel?
No, I like your approach a lot, because I have a question sometimes when I'm going through different places in the world, and the people, they ask me, which is the best country in the world in the swine production? And I say, well, depending on what? Because if you talk about facilities, maybe it should be Denmark. If you talk about cost of production, maybe it's Brazil. But if you talk about the price that they are selling the pig, is by far Japan, is the one that they are taking the highest profit in the world. By the way, all this information, could be found, sorry for that, it could be found in the report that we do, the global benchmarking, that it's a report that we publish together with Daryl Holcomb. I think that there's value information there. No? So, and we have one last question, Olivia.
Okay, go for it.
Do you see needle-free vaccination as the way to follow in swine production?
Oh, Miquel, that's an easy one. You know that I'm a lover of needle-free and intradermal vaccination. It's not only the future, but it's already a staple right now. But hey, I prepared a little video just to see how needle-free and intradermal works. Shall we see it before answering the question?
I love to have videos because they help a lot to see the concept, and they help us. So let's play the video now. Wow, what a video. I think that it was so great. Well, imagine for a moment that you are a sow, okay? And you have two options. You have this option or this option. What do we prefer if you were a sow? Come on, that's clear, not Olivia?
Please, dear audience, this is only a simulation. Don't try to do it at home. But thank you, Miquel. Very clarifying.
Well, and that brings up the end of Q&A questions, guys. This is the end for now, so thank you, Olivia. Thank you.
Thank you, Miquel, and thank you, audience. Thank you for all the questions, and please keep them coming. Bye.
Bye, Olivia. Bye. Wow, show is over. Oh, my goodness. What a day today. Dennis diPietre, the great questions. Guys, if you enjoyed just half as we did during the program, I think that we accomplished what we want. As Neil Armstrong said, this is a big step or a small step for the man, a big one for the swine world. So don't lose the next program that we will touch African swine fever. With who? Jose Manuel Sanchez Vizcaíno. I promise that it will be a great program. So, see you in the next program.